you did name Schrodinger. Maybe could you quickly just name a few scientists that one knows of the famous ones who've been influenced by? Because I think Bertrand Russell was another one who have been influenced by Indian knowledge systems, Indian philosophy. Just a few names.
Almost everybody that you can think of. The greatest physicists. There are. In quantum mechanics, there are different interpretations. One is called a Copenhagen or the orthodox interpretation. The orthodox interpretation, according to most discerning people, is perfectly consistent with Vedanta. Perfectly consistent. Because in the orthodox interpretation, you always have material reality and consciousness as two different aspects. Just as you have a coin, on one side you have one image, on the other side you have the other, so that you cannot have one without the other. So if you were to say, where is consciousness? Well, consciousness is everywhere in all of material reality. And so there are two different aspects. And this is the orthodox interpretation, which is totally consistent with Vedanta. And this is the dominant interpretation. So the greatest physicists, and most of them accept the orthodox interpretation, and not just Schrodinger. You look at Heisenberg. Heisenberg was the other creator. You had Schrodinger and Heisenberg. Heisenberg came to Vishwa Bharati in the late 20s, and then he said that, look, all of this quantum mechanics makes sense. He had conversations with Ravindranath Tagore, right? And he says, now it makes sense, because really this is the way you can look at it. Because there the idea is that, and in philosophy, it's called positivism. You cannot speak of things as they are without speaking of the interaction between the observers and things. So therefore, to speak of, if there's nobody in the forest and a apple falls, and forest of apple trees, and if apple falls, will there be a sound? Well, that's a meaningless question. In this view, meaningful questions are only related to interaction between observers and the reality. And in other words, you must look at everything as a complex of the inner and outer. And likewise, we spoke of the body, of the mind and the body. And if you insist on looking only at the body, at some point, your whole system will fall very short, as seems to have happened with allopathy. Which is not to say that we shouldn't embrace allopathy. Is great, as far as the body is concerned, surgery, etc. But it totally falls short because it doesn't have any means of speaking of the mind.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.